So the second part of the presentation today is on Brahman, Satyam, Jagan, Mithya, and we just heard what the Brahman Satyam means. So our speaker today, I'm really honored to have someone like Swami Brahmavidananda Saraswati, who is coming from that Guru Sishya Parampara, which has been the hallmark and strength of Indian heritage. Swami Brahmavidananda Saraswati is a traditional and contemporary teacher of Vedanta. Contrary to popular belief, Swamiji asserts that Vedanta is not only for sannyasis or sadhus, but very much for people who are living life to the fullest and who want more from life. And we just heard practicing one of the top advocates in the country talking about Vedanta. So Swamiji, your assertion is, we just heard a live evidence of that. And for the last 25 years, Swamiji, armed with this belief, has reached out to different groups of people, students of Vedanta, seekers, youth, corporates, professionals. With no compromise on traditional teaching, he recognized that different folks need different strokes, and India especially, it is very, very, very true. And he has been tailoring his programs according to suit the audience. Swamiji has conducted workshops and training programs for some of the world's biggest companies, Grasim, Tata Infotech, Siemens, Countrywide, GE, and Tata Institute of Fundamental Sciences, and so much more, and including talking to MBA students. So it's really important that we address these dharmic principles as at a very young age as possible. Swamiji is the founder of Arsha Vidya Foundation, a non-profit trust to further the knowledge of Vedanta and organize activities aimed for fulfilling social responsibilities. He's a member of the Medical Ethics Committee of Jaslok Hospital, one of the premier hospitals in Mumbai. He's a life member of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan and a member of the Universal Martial Arts. I believe, Swamiji, you learned karate, Shaolin, and Tai Chi Chuan. Amazing, really amazing. Now, contrary to people, believing that Swamiji should be grim and silent and aloof, Swamiji is a fun-loving person with an infectious, zest for life. And I'm sure we'll see some of that on the presentation today. And Swamiji is formerly a marine engineer. Sir, I did my undergraduate in naval architecture. So we come from the same roots. And you studied Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and other scriptures from none other than Swami Dayananda Saraswati Ji. And again, in this festival has featured so many of his disciples. It's just incredible that we are seeing the live demonstration of the power of that Guru Sishya Parampara. And he studied under Swami Dayananda Saraswati Ji at the Sandipani Sadhanalaya at Powai, Mumbai. And he was very inspired by His Holiness Swami Chinmayananda Ji, and spent 7 years in the Himalayas as a monk, living a complete austere life. And his other gurus are Swami Taranandagiri and Swami Harihara Tirtha. So with that, there is a lot more about Swamiji, and we can't wait to hear from you. So please continue your presentation on Brahman Satyam and Jagat Mithya.
Thank you, sir. It's nice to be here. If you're looking at Shankara's life, the profundity of the Bhashyas, elaborate, crystal clear, highly logical arguments. In fact, I think I spent more effort studying that than my engineering days as a student. Now, at the same time, he has elaborated Vedanta in Prakarana Granthas, covering 1,000 verses, like Vedanta Siddhanta Sangraha, 500 odd verses in Viveka Chudamani. At the end of all that, he says, Ardha Shlokena Pravakshyami. In half a shloka, I will tell you. Yet Uttam Grantha Kotibihi, that which is said in crores of granthas. Half shloka is over. Okay. He's got half left. So he says, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman is only reality. The Jagat is something called mithya. Then what about the person who's seeing the world? GFO Brahma. Jiva is Brahman. The half verse is still not complete. And he has said whatever has to be said. He still has a little bit left. Therefore, for emphasis, he says, na aparaha. The Jiva is not at all different from Brahman. He did not even require half a verse. Now, this topic, really speaking, is a huge topic. Once I conducted a 4-day camp with only this verse. Whole day. It was only we are discussing this verse. Okay? But in the time available to me, okay? Let us look at it. When we look at the world, we use in English a few terms for the ontological reality of the world. Certain words we use are, it is there. My body, it is, or it is not. My horns, no, it is not there. And we use third word, saying it is false. The mirage water is false. The blue sky is false. This body is, the horn is not. I don't think we have an audience of wise people who are capable of seeing my horns yet. No, these are the three words used. Then I will ask, why is it that you are saying the sand of the desert is real and the mirage water is not real? Simple, Swamiji. The mirage water disappears. It is negated. It is negatable. Whereas the sand is not. Ah, okay. Based on that means, obviously, if there is a reality, it should be abhaditam, non-negatable. So let me define what is real as abhaditam satyam. Not my definition, it's the Shastric definition. Yat trikala abhaditam tat satyam. What is non-negatable is true. Okay, good. Then the non-existent horn is not affected by that definition. The mirage water, which you have called as false, is not affected. But what we have taken as real, this body, this table, the Zoom, all that we have taken as real is subject to negation. Where is this body? Annameva. It is born of the food my parents ate, sustained by the food that I ate, developed by all the laddu, puri and all that I've eaten. Where is it different from Anna? That means body is negatable. So I can't call it satyam, real. It is not false, right? Like the rope snake, because it doesn't disappear. It's not false like the mirage water because it doesn't disappear. Walk into my punch and you will know that. There's something here, it doesn't disappear. It is not non-existent like my horns. The head is there all right, very much. What do we call it? It is neither sat, absolute. It is not asat, absolutely not there. It has got an in-between existence for which we give a term mithya. Sat asadhyam anirvachaniyam. That which cannot be categorized as real or unreal. Categorize, mind you, not describe. We are going to describe mithya very well. But which cannot be categorized as sat or asat. Absolutely real or absolutely not real. Tucham. Therefore, sat asadhyam anirvachaniyam. But let us leave this mithya for the time being. We'll come back to it. The first part was Brahmaneva satyam. Brahma satyam. What is this thing Brahman that we talk about? Okay. The definition is from the Upanishad. Taittiriya talks about satyam jnanam anantam Brahman. Therefore, Brahman satyam. Brahma satyam. Brihatvad Brahman. The word Brahman, even if you look at it grammatically, comes out from the root Brihat, meaning big. It's an adjective. Big is an adjective. Therefore, an adjective always qualifies a noun. But look at the beauty of the Sanskrit language. From the adjective, we made a noun. From Brihat, it became Brahma. Brahman in neuter. Therefore, how big? It is the big. Because the adjective defines a noun, all right. But the noun also throws its limitation on the adjective. Big book. Big mosquito. Big dog. Big elephant. Big mountain. The big dog is dog big, not mountain big. Therefore, the noun also throws its limitation on the adjective. And here we have an adjective turned into a noun without anything to limit it. Therefore, that which is limitlessly big is Brahman. And that is defined as satyam abhaditam. Can you see the beauty of what Shankara is saying? Abhaditam satyam. That which cannot be negated. In fact, satyam jnanam anantam eva Brahman. Or as Chandogya says, sadeva saumya idamagram asit ekameva advitiyam Brahman. Before all this, what was there was one Brahman, which is nothing but pure existence, consciousness. That is what Shankara is talking about as Satyam Brahman. Oh, that is okay. It was there before, but now we have only the world. No? Somebody said that. Swamiji, before there was Satyam. After that, it became the world. So now we have the world only. Now, where is Satyam? Like with 1 kilo atta, I made 50 rotis. Now I only have rotis. I don't have atta. Hey, if Brahman is the big, limitlessly big, what it means is unconditioned by time and space. Only then can you call it Anantam, limitlessly big. And if it is Anantam, it cannot change to become the world. There is no change happening here. It cannot. Only something in time can undergo a change. Something which is limitless cannot undergo a change because it's unconditioned by time and space. You cannot say it is limitless and say it is changing in time. Therefore, Brahmaneva Satyam. Then what about the world you see? An appearance. Yad bhaditam tad mithya. That is the word Jagat. Jagat means the whole universe. Whatever is experienced. Jayate gacchati iti Jagat. That which is born and goes. Like waves in the ocean. That which is born and gone. May last for some time. Therefore, to understand this mithya a little bit, Because unless I understand mithya, I cannot really understand myself as Brahman. The GFO2020 will not be clear. One definition would be yat abhasa matram, that which is only of a nature of appearance, but natu asti, which is not really there. Like rope, snake, mirage, etc. They are all mithya. This everyone knows. Why? Because there is no reality there, it's negatable. Another angle of looking at it is yad rupena nishchitam tad rupam vyabhicharati. Constantly changing. What you decided it is like this, but then it changed. Milk became curds. Changes. Therefore, the changing reality. Or yat trikalam na tishtati. That which does not exist in the three periods of time, past, present, future. That means whatever is time bound is mithya. And the fourth, which is a really good definition, adhisthana ananyatvam. That which is not independent of the substratum, its content. Like I'm wearing a kurta. Okay, here is a kurta. And you say kurta, I say cloth. I'm wearing cloth. Where is the kurta? There's no kurta, there's only cloth. The weight of the kurta is the weight of the cloth. The fall of the kurta is the fall of the cloth. The color of the kurta is the color of the cloth. The texture of the kurta is the texture of the cloth. Therefore, kurta, which is what I'm wearing, is adhisthana ananyatvam. Enjoys adhisthana ananyatvam. It is not different from the adhishtanam, the cloth. Of course, here, cloth being finite, there is a modification happening in terms of namarupa, name and form. But adhisthana ananyatvam, cloth can be in any form. In one form it is kurta, another form it is my dhoti, my veshti that I am wearing. Another form can be a shirt. Or the most popular dress nowadays with everyone sitting at home. Your pajama kurta. Yeah. Therefore, adhisthana ananyatvam. When you look at this definition, look at anything in the world, you will find it has got ananyatvam, adhisthana ananyatvam with Brahman. For an example, let me take a pad or a notebook. A book. It's a book. It has got a reality, functional. I can write, can whack somebody on the head with it. It's useful. Vyavahara yogyatam is there in this. But when you look at it, I say, where is book? I only see paper. Where is the book? All there is paper. Which is right? Book or paper? Well, it is book all right, but really speaking, yeah, paper. Therefore, then paper can be any form. If this was not bound together here, but just filed, then you would be calling it paper, not book. Therefore, what you call book is only a rupa for which you are given a nama, a name. Content is paper. Book is mithya. In this example, paper appears as satyam. Hey, paper? Where is paper? This paper is nothing but wood pulp. Wood pulp in this form is called paper. In some other form, it would have been called something else. It's only wood pulp. Therefore, paper becomes just namarupa, mithya, and what appears as what seems to be satyam is wood pulp. Let's go further. I'm borrowing an argument from science just for the sake of convenience of explaining. I'm not trying to make Vedanta scientific. I don't believe it is scientific. I can prove it is not scientific. But you can always borrow arguments from any system to help explain what Advaita Vedanta is about. Therefore, wood pulp. What is wood pulp? That's just an arrangement of hydrocarbons. There is nothing like wood pulp. That is true. What is saying is wood pulp is nothing but hydrocarbons. This body is another form of hydrocarbons. Because we are living in a hydrocarbon-based world. If it was in Venus or something, it would be a different. Therefore, there is nothing but hydrocarbons. What we remember, we started with book, ended up with hydrocarbons. But Swamiji, hydrocarbon is nothing but a form, an arrangement of some molecules. Correct? But molecule itself is nothing but an arrangement of particles, of atoms. Correct? Therefore, what you call molecules became nothing but atoms. Molecule became Namarupa, name and form. Therefore, mithya and atoms appear as satyam. But atoms, Swamiji, there are 132 particles at the last count, if I'm right. Maybe more also now, I don't know. So, 132 particles. So, the particle satyam, where will it go? As long as there is a form, I will be able to resolve it into its content. A time will come and may not be physically possible, but conceptual, understanding-wise possible. In fact, most of these particles are nothing but concepts because they exist only for a split second or less, nanoseconds. Therefore, what is there? You can't say nothing is there, like the Buddhist said. Why? I'm talking about this book. So, I whack you on the head with you, you'll say there is something there, all right. Therefore, you can't say nothing because there is something here. Therefore, what does it mean? There has to be something that exists, but without form. Therefore, formless existence is the basis for this book. Formless existence is the basis for this whole Jagat. And that formless existence is abhaditam satyam Brahman. Brahma satyam, jagan mithya. And what about the I who is seeing the whole thing? The jiva is nothing but Brahman. Why? Who is me? I am the consciousness that objectifies the body, that's independent of the body. That objectifies my prana, independent of the prana. That objectifies the mind, independent of the mind. That objectifies my knowledge, independent of the knowledge. That objectifies my ignorance, independent of the ignorance. Oh, what is it? I am the Sakshi, the one who says all that. But Sakshi I am with respect to an object of consciousness. With respect to myself, I am nothing but pure consciousness. Limitless consciousness, consciousness which is not bound by time and space. Because time is nothing but a thought in my mind. And time and space are not different. That's why the Shastra always mentioned either space or time. They didn't mention both together. Time-space continuum is one. Stephen Hawking was the first person to say it in the Western scientific world. But this is what the reality is. Therefore, I am that consciousness. And consciousness cannot be separate from Satyam because I am the only entity that cannot be negated. My body can be negated, my mind can be negated, my thoughts can be negated, my knowledge can be negated, my ignorance can be negated. By I, the consciousness cannot be negated. Therefore, what is presented as Brahman, Satyam, is nothing but Chit itself, Chaitanyam itself. Therefore, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that Anantam, limitlessness, that limitlessness, Jivaha, Brahmeva, the Jiva who I who have taken myself to be a finite entity and is praying to the, oh Lord, give me moksha, give me Sayuja. This idiot is nothing but the sought. The seeker is nothing but the sought Brahman. Nothing but the thought Brahman itself. Therefore, Jivo Brahmeva. And for emphasis, na apara. Therefore, the whole process in Vedanta is purely cognitive, is understanding based. Karma, bhakti, etc. is to get your mind ready. Chittasya shuddhaye karma, Shankara again. All karma, bhakti, etc. is for chitta shuddhi. Natu vastu upalabdhaye, not for gaining the vastu. Vastu siddhi vicharena. Shastra vicharena eva vastu siddhi. Natu karma koti bhi, not by crores of karma. Therefore, any karma you do, any bhakti practices, etc. you do, is important as far as your mind is concerned. Exactly like how this body is concerned for functioning. But functioning, we go by experience, we go by functioning. Since our attention is on the functioning, our attention is on name and form. And we take that is real. No. The moment you say name and form is not real. Remember my kurta? Not real. It is not abhaditam satyam. I am the abhaditam satyam. And the whole Jagat, the universe that you see, the multiverse that you see, is nothing but Nama Rupa alone. Nama Rupa alone. The reality is what? One consciousness called as Brahman or Atman. Same thing. So that's where the whole thing is. Therefore, Jivo Brahmeva na apara. Don't take it as anything else. There's a lot to talk on this subject. It's endless. As I said, I took a 4-day camp where the whole camp, where I was taking 3-4 classes a day, the whole thing was one thing but this topic. But this is a good introduction to the whole thing. In brief, if Shankara could be brief enough to say it in half hours, I think we are trying to say it in half an hour. Okay. So I think my time was up to 7:45 and it's 7:45 now. So if there is any questions or anything, I'll be happy to take it.
Thank you so much, Swamiji.
Pleasure.
You actually, at least I was laughing all along about how you are, giving simple examples to describe something so complex. Anything that cannot be negated is Brahman. Was just such a simple way for us to constantly think. So that
I'm sorry. Can you speak a little louder? I'm a bit hard of hearing.
Yeah. No, I just want to say thank you for your wonderful message. And the way you said abhaditam satyam Brahman, in anything that cannot be negated, that's a simple tool that any of us can use to ensure our understanding of Brahman. So we were asking the audience to share their questions, and as they're thinking about questions, I have a question. So when you share this concept with students, MBA students or even younger students, what kind of reaction do you get from them? Do they think that it's like too out there somewhere, or are they able to relate to it and say, oh my God, this is amazing?
Yeah, I don't start with Brahma, Satyam, Jagan, Mithya with them. Okay. I thought this was a more learned audience, therefore I started with that topic. When the student first comes to me, I start with some simple Prakarana Grantha. I do the Gita. Okay. So it is a gradual this thing. Yeah, by the time the second chapter of the Gita was over, they're understanding the idea of Brahman, etc. Now, maybe in the beginning, it's a conceptual understanding. But in time, as the teaching goes ahead, all these concepts are broken and the reality is revealed. In fact, that's what Vedanta teaching is. You negate the concepts and understand the reality. In time, it happens. It takes its own time because you're so taken up by the names and forms, which is fine. So if there are even younger students like college students, etc., I will talk about being competent in life, workshops, how to take charge of your life, what is love, what is the relationship. Let them live their life fully. And then they will mature out and come to Vedanta. So you always have to tailor to the audience and see that you take them from where they are to where they have to be. Then somebody asked the question, I saw it on the screen, that why doesn't the Advaita Sampradaya accept Adi Shankaracharya as? Because of the very nature of the thing. When Shankara has said that there's only one reality, and somebody else is saying that the reality is manifold, they will find it difficult to accept what Shankara has said. Therefore, they'll find it difficult to accept Shankara as one of the gurus. So I'm sure they'll respect him as one of the saints in India, that much is there. But they may not be able to accept him as a guru, etc. That's okay. Even though he's Jagat Guru, that doesn't mean he has to be accepted by every single human being on the earth. It doesn't have to be. It's okay. This is where it is very difficult. No? Where? Forget. Even secularists will not accept. Leftists will not accept. So many other religious beliefs will not accept. That's okay. That's their choice. We don't have to convert the whole world into our thinking. As long as we convert those who want to know, as long as we make people who want to know understand, then fine. Then another question was, we are so conditioned by the mind. Yes, the more civilized or developed a society is, the more comfort oriented we become. That means what? We are giving in to the demands of the mind all the time. There is no disciplining of the mind. Really speaking, I am independent of the mind and the mind is dependent on me as far as reality is concerned. But as far as my living is concerned, it becomes the other way around. Whatever the mind demands, I give in to. That is why all religions, if you notice, Hinduism definitely, but all religions, will have some disciplines where you learn to say no to the mind. Why? Because that's the whole thing. To understand I am independent of the mind, I have to be able to say no to the mind or yes, make the mind do what I want to do. And this is where we are failing. One of the major failure is that, Swamiji, I don't feel like, why aaj mood nahi hai. No mood today. No mood today. What do you mean no mood? Forget your mood. Do what has to be done. So that discipline. That's why you mentioned that I was into martial arts and things like that. I still am a bit. That is what gave me the discipline. I was not a very religious person as a child or as a youngster. Religion came into my life much later. But the discipline for understanding Vedanta, I got from my martial arts. Why? Demands of the body, forget it. It's paining. So what? Do what has to be done. Mind, I want comfort. No, learn to be comfortable with discomfort. So that type of thing helps you understand the mind. So you need to do something. That's why Swami Vivekananda once said that sometimes football is more useful than religion. Why? When you play football, you develop your will and you learn to be comfortable with the discomfort of aching legs and labored breath. You learn to be comfortable with that. So that mastery of the mind. And Shankara says this in all his places. Whether it is a simple Prakarana Grantha or advanced text, he says that. Manaseva Manushyanam Karanam Bandheto Bandamokshayo Hetuhu Mana Eva. The Karanam for moksha or bondage is the mind. Because the mind is not disciplined, how are you going to get it? Any other questions? I'm just responding to the questions I'm seeing on the screen. Okay.
Wonderful response. Definitely everybody's very happy about your message. I also enjoyed your Adhisthana Ananyatvam examples and really wonderfully done. Thank you so much, Swamiji. We are coming to the end of our presentation. And there is one more question that came up just since we have at least a couple more minutes. How do we apply this disciplining to attain freedom from the wandering of the mind?
I think it should be the other way around. You discipline your mind and come to understand this knowledge. You don't use this knowledge to discipline your mind. Yes, one insight is necessary that I have a greater reality than my mind. That in the light of Vedanta is the mind that is dependent on me. I am independent of the mind. That insight can be used to discipline that mind. I don't have to give in to everything that the mind demands. I can make the mind do what I want. This discipline, it doesn't matter how you develop it. You develop it through religious sadhana, you develop it through martial arts, through football, whatever. Why? Because there's something to be done. What can be done in 100 different ways. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam. Can be done, need not be done. It can be done in 100 different ways. So, whatever way to discipline the mind. And there are hundreds of ways available. Within the Shastra, outside the Shastra. Because disciplining the mind is universal. Whether you are a caveman living on hunting or a modern person trying to be an entrepreneur or develop software, etc. If your mind is not disciplined, it doesn't happen. Moksha, even more so for moksha. Therefore, discipline it by whatever means available.
Okay, there's a question from Anita. She's definitely, sharing her happiness about expanding on this Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. Expanding this Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya aspect.
Yes.
Is it possible to imagine that with 8 billion human minds on the planet with varying capacities, there will be different levels of understanding and levels of acceptance of these difficult concepts? So, yeah, I think you just said it's true, and not everybody has to
Exactly.
subscribe.
In fact, the Upanishad itself says, Kaschat dhiraha pashyati. Some thinking person gets it. Everyone doesn't get it. Or like some other religion said, many are called, few are chosen. In the sense, many people get exposure, but few people will really understand. That's always the case. And that's the case with everything. Many people will talk about science. They say, we want to make things scientific. Do they really understand what science is? No. They're just using the term blindly for something logical. So similarly here, everyone is not going to understand it. Let us say one person understands. That's huge for me. Because then if I reach out to 1,000 people, 100 people can gain moksha. Wow, that's great. Because every person who gains moksha is a potential teacher. That means if we're getting 100 teachers, that's great, yeah. Even one person. Yeah. And if there are 8 billion people, that means there is a lot of work for all of us to reach out. So Advaita Academy is doing a good job reaching out.
Wonderful, sir. Actually, this entire festival, we had so many disciples of Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji, yes. And that's an example, right? I'm sure he spoke to 1 billion people, but then this 200, 300, or maybe few thousand
teachers.
Yeah, it's a handful of teachers, and because of that, we are able to hear from people like you. So
parampara goes on.
Right.
And if each of us manage to create a handful of teachers, our students who become teachers, like 2 of my students spoke on Advaita Academy. So even 5, if each one of us can create, that becomes a huge number. So geometrical proportions, it can go on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
God willing. It all will happen.
Yes. No, this festival definitely has been God willing. Because it was a concept just a few days ago, and how all of you, said so enthusiastically that you want to participate and offer your valuable time. Sir, thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate it. Your talk is being recorded, and it will be available online for thousands more people from all over the world to watch it and learn from your immense wisdom. Thank you once again. Huge praise to you for what you do. It is because of you our Sanatana Dharma and our Vedanta is standing, and it will continue to stand because of the disciples that you are producing. Thank you so much once again. So this concludes the second topic, second session of day 10, and we are now moving into day 11. And session number 1 of day 11 starts on Friday morning India time at 6 o'clock, which is Thursday evening 12:30 p.m. on the western coast, and then 8:30 p.m. on EST America. We have 2 wonderful talks. The first one is actually a dialogue between 2 people I have known, and I've had the privilege of introducing them to each other, Mr. Navi Raju and then Dr. Prasad Kaipa. They're going to be speaking of principles of oneness in innovation approaches in the world. They are both extremely extremely popular authors. They wrote the book From Smart to Wise, and they have been very bold and sort of vocal about Indian wisdom, and its applications to the Western world, to leadership, to innovation, and so on. So please tell your friends, do not miss two gems talking about this. It's almost like two Shankaras talking, and we all want to just sit back and listen. The second one is Sadhana Panchakam of Shankaracharya. That talk will be in English, and it is being given by Swamiji Govind Devagiri Maharajaji. It will be a video talk in Hindi at 6:45 a.m. IST in the Indian Standard Time. So with that, thank you all for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure. We had the record number of attendees today, and we hope to keep this number growing, because that's how we create awareness and also curiosity to learn about our Vedantic and Advaita philosophy